I think we are ready to go. So hello and welcome. Thank you everyone for joining our webinar today. Very excited to be joined by SalesIntel on the Cutting Through the Noise, How to Improve Your Enterprise ABM webinar today. So real quick, just wanted to go over the agenda for this next 30 minutes. We'll do a quick introduction, the difference between enterprise and mid-market ABM, and then we're going to get into what you really want to know, which are tips for a successful enterprise ABM strategy, a quick overview of the solutions, and time for Q&A. And just a note on the Q&A, please ask your questions throughout the webinar. We'll get to them during the webinar and at the end. So feel free to submit those in the Q&A box at the top of your screen. All right, so now to introduce today's speakers, I'm really excited to be joined by Raj. He's the head of growth at SalesIntel. So Raj, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well, thank you, Chelsea, very much for having me on. My name is Raj Kara. I'm the head of growth at SalesIntel. It is a fast-growing company that provides amazing B2B data and intelligence to help you close your sales cycle a lot faster. And today we're going to be talking about account-based marketing and some specific plays you can use and take away and put to action right away after this webinar. My background is I've actually been a CEO of several SaaS-related companies in the past, built and sold 3 of them to publicly traded companies. So we've been doing ABM and other marketing for a long time. And I'm very happy to be here and share whatever we can to help you accelerate your sales too.
Awesome, love it. And my name is Chelsea Legendre. I am the customer marketing manager here at Rybbon. And I also have a lot of direct ABM experience. So happy to share my experience as well. So to get into it, the information we're sharing with you today, it does come from our extensive background in working with a variety of companies all over the world. We've run over 55,000 rewards programs across marketers and researchers. We've sent over 3.1 million rewards today in over 160 different countries. So you can see some of the brands we work with, as well as some of our integration partners, such as Marketo and HubSpot. Without further ado, Raj, let's get started.
Yeah, so many of you may be familiar with the term account-based marketing. It's basically like creating a very detailed marketing plan to reach people you want as clients. And typically it's for larger deals because it requires an immense amount of collaboration with your internal team members, marketing and sales coordination, as well as identifying who you should reach out to in these specific accounts. So you want to have a strategy that's very focused. It is not mass marketing. It's not even like I guess one-to-many marketing, not to one to like hundreds or thousands and stuff, but it's very, very focused. And it's designed around building relationships with different people inside the company. So you may be reaching out to somebody who's the finance manager, CFO, the one who writes the budget stuff. So you may need to put information about ROI for them. You may be reaching out to the manager who's got to make everything happen. And that person's in charge of the integrations and all kinds of other stuff, or the user who's going to be actually using your product. So you need to have material around each of these and kind of give them what I would call a warm hug to reach out and get yourself on the radar. So we're going to talk about how to make this happen in great detail today. And in fact, Chelsea's got a great case study we want to lead with on what you can expect to happen. So here's a case study. Chelsea, why don't you take that one away?
Definitely, thank you. So this case study is with our Rybbon customer, Clarabridge. So as you know, webinars can be a fantastic component of an ABM strategy, especially in this very virtual world we're in right now. And so we just want to walk through an example with Clarabridge. So what they did is they actually limited the invite list to contacts from only their target accounts. And this way their content can be highly specific to their target account's pain points and their goals. You can also limit a webinar invite list down to contacts from just one company, creating an extremely personalized and specific presentation, which, as Raj says, it takes a lot of work. So you want to make sure you have the right company, which we'll get into. But to get the most benefit out of such a specialized and high effort initiative, Clarabridge wanted to do everything they could to maximize attendance. So to accomplish this, they used Rybbon to offer a digital reward to all of their invitees in exchange for attending their webinar. So as you can see in the bottom bullet point right here, They increase their attendance rate, which has led to more ABM deals closing because as more key contacts see content tailored for them, they're more likely to be receptive to your sales messaging. And to make a story like this your story, we are going to get into some fantastic tips on building a successful ABM enterprise strategy. All right, so our very first tip is to align your sales and marketing departments. Sales and marketing should work closely to plan and execute every step of the ABM journey. And this is why we put it as point number one, because you both need to be on board before you even move forward. So with enterprises, because they're so vast, you want to be sure that every component of your approach is coordinated towards the same results. Examples of such areas that sales and marketing teams should directly collaborate for enterprise deals include choosing target accounts, marketing tactics and sales outreach plans, timelines for different styles of communication, brand voice, and prospect experience. So our first tip within this one is to align your goals and KPIs specifically to an enterprise ABM strategy. You want to focus on engagement statistics among your target audience rather than metrics such as total leads or conversions. These are truly massive fish that we're talking about here, so don't lose sight of the value of just closing one single deal. You want to try to ensure that many individuals at a target company are being exposed to the same valuable content and conversations. This keeps everyone on the same page, leading to more productive discussions. Not to mention that depending on your product, many teams within a single enterprise could benefit from what you're offering, which means an even bigger sale for you. One more tip here is to collaborate on messaging from every channel, but also every persona. So these key points can be anything from product features to industry stats to customer stories, whatever drives home the point that your product provides huge value to them. But you do want to be selective in choosing these key points so you're not overwhelming the target audience. And part of that audience is also creating a story for each of these personas. You have the actual end user, but you also have the buyer, like Raj talked about, the CFO, the person actually signing, and then the influencers, the people who might be involved in swaying you one way or the other.
So just a quick tie-in with some of the material that you'll need to share with people. So again, just think about who you're reaching here. You've got your ideal customer profile, which as we view it, that's the account. That's the account level, not the individual person level, but the account level. So you want to go after, whatever fits there. So inside that, you've got the specific people that you want to reach. And that's where you start creating more material related to each person. And that's where also that sales and marketing collaboration comes into play. So as your sales team starts to reach out, they may need material for ROI because they're talking to the finance person. They might also need a user guide or an API integration guide if they're talking to somebody else. So that's where all of that collaboration really needs to fit tightly so that they send the right material to the right person. So let's talk about here the figuring out how you figure out which accounts actually are the ones you want to reach.
Yeah, so the first tip is creating that very detailed ICP. So picking the right targets means that your ABM deals are going to close at a higher rate, leads to higher profits. But as we've talked about a few times now, enterprise companies are huge, so it's going to require a large concerted effort to successfully build a deal, and spread your resources across many different enterprises can actually hinder your efforts. So you want to make sure you're very focused. You also need to make sure to remind yourself that ABM requires time to bear fruit, so you'll need to commit to winning these accounts. The results won't be immediate, so the importance of picking the right targets is even higher. If you choose the wrong targets, you could waste your time and your resources. And with ABM, we want to make sure we're going after the right ones right away.
So as Chelsea pointed out, figuring out who you want to reach is obviously the first step. So you take a look at your current database, and many of you may already be doing this. Who are your best customers? And by best, you can also look, revenue is certainly one of them, but it's also the people that give you the fewest headaches. So you want to find out who are your best customers, who inside those customers actually wrote the check, who influenced writing the check, that kind of thing. So once you have a sense of the types of people, the titles, for example, the roles, the types of companies, the decision-making criteria that they used. You can then use that as a stamp to then figure out other people that look very similar to those ideal clients. So you want to find those. And that's how you actually select your target accounts. So that's where SalesIntel can help quite a bit. We actually have a database of almost 80 million, actually, I think at this point it's like 86 million companies with contacts, so that you can find out the person's job title, their role inside the company, their phone numbers, their email addresses, and lots of other stuff like technographic information, employee count, so you can refine who you're trying to reach. That simplifies the process of identifying your accounts a lot. Tremendous amount of research you can really get done in just almost a matter of minutes, actually, to help narrow down the scope of who you want to reach. And then from that, you can pull the contacts. So you'll have an org chart of your target accounts. Typically, when you do an ABM campaign, you're not reaching hundreds of companies. You're targeting, depending on the size of your company and the capacity of your team, it could be 20 companies that are on your target list. It could be 25. It could be 10. So these are the accounts that you think you've got a good chance of getting, and you create an org chart to then create that individualized marketing plan to reach those people and start building those relationships. It's a long-term play. It's not just like batch and blast and then you're done. You really need to nurture those with specific content or experiences that are related to each individual. So you can find out who to reach by starting with this type of research. So,
and trust me, your sales team will love you for it. So this is where you guys really need to work together. Make sure you're going through this information, side by side.
That is absolutely correct. And when you think about what sales teams often get stuck with, is they actually get stuck doing the research. Who should I reach out to in this one target account? And that slows them down. In fact, if you've got a business development team and they're doing that research, it's slowing them down too. So having access to a database that already has this information, where you could just type in a couple of things to search and say, I'm looking for people who use Salesforce. I'm looking for people with companies that are 100 to 250 employees that are doing 10 million in sales, all kinds of criteria that match that ideal client profile. You can do that research very quickly and identify who in those companies you should reach out to. So let's go ahead to the next slide and talk about another really cool thing, that is intent information. So can you imagine like reaching somebody who is already looking for a solution like yours? I mean, that's sales nirvana, right? I mean, that's something that everybody wants to go for. It's like, if I'm already looking for something, I've already raised my hand, I've typed something onto Google or another website, and I'm looking for your type of solution. I want to know who those people are because I want to have a conversation. I also want to verify that they fit my ideal client profile. So if you can get your ideal client profile, and then on top of that, layer in, I want to find people who are looking for ransomware solutions or looking for PR companies, whatever your company provides. If you can actually search that, and by the way, there are 8,000 different intent searches you can find on SalesIntel. And once you type some of those in, it'll come back, it'll show you companies that are looking for those types of solutions right now. So we keep that's a floating 4-week window. So what you do as a search 2 months from now will be different than what you do today. So there's a constant stream of new leads you can actually find. When you couple that with the ICP, now you've got, like I said, sales nirvana. You've got people who are looking for your solution, the contact information for those people. So when you reach out, it really makes a big difference. And I'll share a case study. I'll just hint at it right now, but I'll share a case study at the end here of how one of our clients, by using this intent information coupled with the other factors that we put here, increased their response rate by 10x, not 10%, 10 times. Huge impact on just using intent information to reach out. It shortened their sales cycles tremendously.
So next up, we have, want to make a splash. Don't be afraid to go in and wow them. So you've selected your perfect target account, but you'll still need to compete for their attention. You'll get higher ROI by investing enough time and resources into the right accounts. So don't neglect this component of your ABM strategy. Even if you have the best strategy and the best target customer, you won't succeed without the best execution as well. So for us, making a splash can mean several different things. This is a time when it makes the most sense to be creative. Brainstorm with your sales team ways that you can make your brand stand out from typical outreach cadences. Maybe you want to run highly personalized marketing with ads that mention their company or their industry. You could do unique branding, such as engaging videos that could be fun or really high quality, as long as they're very memorable. Make yourself impossible to ignore. And this is where rewards can come in handy. So our first tip is, they're great strategies to get someone's attention in a very crowded field. We have a pro tip for you today. So the first one is maybe you're in different time zones. Say I'm East Coast and I'm contacting someone on the West Coast. Maybe I could send them a coffee gift card if the meeting is very early for them. Or perhaps I'm talking to someone in EMEA, then maybe I'll provide them a rewards for ordering dinner. Our next tip is our all-star tip. So did they mention a hobby on a previous call? Maybe they like to run, or perhaps they have a favorite sport or sports team. Retail cards that match your prospect's interests can be really impactful and bring a welcome and human component to sales conversations.
Yeah, that's a really important tip there, Chelsea. I remember one time I was talking to just a colleague at a networking event, and he referred a customer to me that actually turned into a paying customer. And as a way to say thanks to him, instead of just writing a thank you card, I found out that he enjoys flying. So I also found out a local airport that he goes in and out of periodically. And I got him a gift card for an hour of free flying time on an airplane, which, my goodness, he remembered that. That was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
That's a very personalized gift. In fact, I've got another story here. Earlier this year, Adobe wanted to start talking to my company about some of the products and services that they offer. So instead of just peppering me with marketing messages, they actually said, can we take you out to Valentine's dinner? So this is when everybody's in lockdown, nobody's going out. And so they actually shipped me and a handful of other people that they were targeting a full boxed make yourself a meal, kind of like those HelloFresh boxes.
Mm-hmm.
And what they did is they actually got a celebrity chef to host the entire event. And so talk about entering my home. They didn't just enter my business mind. They actually entered my home because I'm sitting there with my daughter and myself making dinner for the family on Valentine's night. So my wife and I, we all enjoyed it. Adobe actually entered my house. Think about that from a sales perspective. Here I am months later, still talking about the experience. That's what you want to create for people, right? That is ABM in one of the biggest ways you can do ABM.
Definitely. And Raj, I think that's a great transition into your case study if you wanted to present that now.
Yeah. So one of the things that we found, so one of our clients, Evolve BPM, they reach out to lots of other customers. They were sending out messages that were working to some degree. They were getting about a 0.6 to 0.8% response rate. The moment they switched to using data from SalesIntel, where we provide intent information about people searching for the types of things that they could help with and sending messages only to them, they went from 0.6 to 0.8 to 6 to 8. 10x jump in response rate. That is a massive, massive increase. So when you think about how long it would have taken them to actually get the same number of qualified leads just by doing this the normal way, it would have been much longer. So using intent information takes your sales cycle and just keeps shrinking it down, because you're talking to people who have already at some point raised their hand and said, hey, I'm looking for something like this. So when you start doing that, you can do that for different areas, right? Again, focus on the ROI person, focus on the user, focus on the person who's got to get everything integrated into your workflow, create different types of content for them, do this outreach for them, and you'll start to interact. Got another little tip I share periodically with people who are sending gifts, and that is, don't start off by sending something that's branded to your company. Reason is they don't have an affinity with your brand yet. So they might say, oh yeah, another coffee mug or another travel mug or love. I personally like travel mugs, but if someone sent to me a travel mug with their company brand on it, it would just really sit on a shelf. A strategy that one client used was they found out the university that the person attended. Actually, for me, they found out I went to the University of Maryland. I love the Terps, big Terps fan. And so they sent me a travel mug with a big M on it, Maryland logo. That one I actually use. So when you think about create something that they already have an affinity with, that their heart's already there. So when you send that to them, I guarantee you that can help open up conversations too, because you're not just sending some random stuff that they're probably already getting from other sources. Make it much more personalized to them. So those are some tips that really help elevate your ABM strategy.
I love those tips. Those are fantastic. I know I've gotten something before and it was very out of the blue. So it's nice to be like tied into, who you are, what you're looking for, and are you actually searching for that program? Yeah. And that's where, that intent data and working side by side really comes into play.
Yeah. And in fact, we've got a free tool. It's called Rev Driver that you're welcome to download. Just go to SalesIntel.io and there's a link to download Rev Driver right there. What it is, it's a Chrome plugin. And so if you're on someone's website and you want to see, well, that looks like it could be a good potential account for us. Who should I contact in that company? Well, with the Chrome plugin, you can click one button on your browser and it will show you the contacts that we have at that company. So you can then reach out to them very quickly. It's all that part of it is free. You get a certain number of lookups free every month. And then you can elevate that to a full plan if you'd like. But that's a really good way to start finding out who to reach out to. It also works inside LinkedIn. So there's Sales Navigator tool too. So if you're looking for contact information, you may not have it inside LinkedIn. If somebody hasn't posted it, you can click a button in our system. If we've got that information, it'll tell you what it is. The other really cool thing is, let's say, we've got almost 100 million people in our database. If we don't have contact information for somebody, you can click one button and use our research on demand team. It is an army of 1,400 people that can do the research for you. So literally you just say, oh, I need to know the VP of client services at this company. And then just after filling that request, our team goes to work and sends you back that contact information. Saves a tremendous amount of time. So I have this saying that if you're doing the work of an assistant, you are the assistant. So use a tool to get the assistant work out of the way, because you're effectively paying yourself minimum wage to do this kind of work. It's a lot cheaper to get it done somewhere else. So that's my other tip. I'd say if you're doing the work of an assistant, you are the assistant. So let someone else take care of that for you.
Yeah, and then you can spend more time actually building out those campaigns for your
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So the good ABM strategies start off with that org chart. Here's the company we want to reach because it maps into the ICP that we're going after. Here's the org chart of the people that we need to reach inside that company. And that's where a tool like SalesIntel can just help you go boom, 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 boom. And here is my org chart. Now I can create a detailed marketing plan to go after them and build those relationships with all the other things out, with using Rybbon's tools to get the appropriate gift cards to people and so on. So it's a good tie-in with all that.
Yeah, and if you want to add that link you mentioned before to the chat, feel free to add it in now. We're just gonna go over a few, background on Rybbon and our solution, and then now is a great time to start submitting your questions. We still have about 5 minutes for questions, so start submitting them now. We'll get to them in just a few minutes.
Yep. Let me just type in the note. I think I'm going to just share that website so you can take a look at that.
Perfect.
There we go. So just click on that link in the chat there, and you can download Rev Driver for free.
I love it. I'll definitely be checking that out. So for the Rybbon side, just so everyone knows, we're not just a rewards fulfillment vendor. We're actually a rewards management platform. You'll have the ability to track and manage every single reward sent from Rybbon to help you evaluate your program's ROI and plan for future programs, especially looking at, how are your specific ABM campaigns functioning. Not to mention, the finance teams love having easy access to see how much money is going where. Next, you'll have access to our trusted reward delivery. Deliverability is a key factor to every program's success. We maintain a 99.99% deliverability of reward emails, and we allow flexibility in sending these rewards from your own company's trusted domain. This way, the reward email is recognized by the customer, reinforces the brand goodwill, and we can make sure you match your campaign branding for your specific ABM program. You also have access to our extensive reward selection. Every person is different and have different interests. So this is a time where you can actually provide them a few different options to select from. All awesome pre-paid rewards from Blackhawk. You can even have the ability to offer donation options for those in the giving sphere or who may be a little shy about accepting a reward. Automation and integration is extremely important to ensure that your customers don't have to wait for their rewards and you're not spending too much time focusing on reward management, or as Raj said, the admin work rather than other priorities. And one of our best tips is that you will actually receive a 100% refund on any reward that goes unclaimed. This helps make sure that your budget is not going to waste. You can actually put that back towards your ABM program and make the most of every dollar spent. And then lastly, you'll receive excellent safety and support features with fraud protections and our fantastic customer service team, all great features that will improve your program's success. And I just want to show everyone real quick how easy it is. So all you have to do, you can see the GIF here, is build your campaign with Rybbon. Whether you plan to connect with a marketing automation tool like Marketo, which is shown here, or HubSpot, or you could connect with a survey platform such as Qualtrics or SurveyMonkey. So you build your campaign and then you delight your customers. How great is that? So no matter where in the world they're located, every customer and recipient will have a delightful experience in a seamlessly selective way, being able to choose the rewards that are available to them. So great for these enterprise customers are often spread out across the world. They're not just in one location. So they can choose rewards that are actually available in their local currency in their country. And with that, I would love to head into Q&A. And Raj, see if you have anything to add in. I think we had one question come through about, do I need to change anything in my workflow to make this happen? I think around.
So the nice thing about SalesIntel, it actually integrates with Salesforce and other tools too, probably tools that you're already using. So there's not a lot that needs to change. One of the big things that people encounter is if you've got an account that maybe you've been working for a while and maybe the contact's 6 months old, a year old, maybe they've moved on. We can help you enrich that information so you've got current contact information. It's two-way sync. And so we've also got other ways to just make that workflow fairly seamless and painless to be able to reach out to the right contacts. But the bottom line is just using a data tool saves a tremendous amount of time. We hear it time and time again from our clients that it just saves them so much time, especially our research on demand feature, where you can just go type in, hey, I need to find contacts at these following 5 companies, 10 companies, 25 companies, and it just comes right back to you. So you've got that information at your fingertips. You got phone numbers. We also have a very large library of mobile phone numbers, which is obviously very important these days, as many people are still working from home. You can see me, I'm in my basement right now. And so, that's how I think a lot of us are. So reaching people on their phone numbers, their mobile numbers is really important too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if anyone has any questions. Now is the time. Raj has so much knowledge about ABM. You really should, take the time to ask him.
Yeah, I'm happy to connect with people. I'll just type in my email address too. If you have any questions offline, I'm happy to take your questions. Just send me an email. So I just posted that in the chat. Thank you for connecting. I think we're at the bottom of the hour, which is the amount of time we have for this session. So thanks again for joining, and I hope to see you on LinkedIn or somewhere else really soon. Take care.
Yeah, and thank you again for everyone for attending. Thank you, Raj, for joining us and SalesIntel. Please keep an eye on your inbox for the recording from today's session. It'll be in your inbox later today. And then be on your lookout for your reward if you're a qualified attendee next week when my colleague Kevin is back in town. So thank you and have a great day, everyone.
Bye-bye.